vacation to Dubai starts from rupees 29,999 only with GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Namaste.
Namaste, sir.
So we spoke before 12th fail,
Yes.
and the movie became this humongous hit, got you such recognition. So, moral of the story: before every movie, talk to me.
Yes. I agree. I agree.
No,
and
it's-
here I am again, and you are actually the last one I'm talking to. So I think sector का भी कुछ हो ही जाएगा.
हो ही जाएगा.
हो ही जाएगा.
No, but seriously, I cannot be more thrilled for you because like I told you even that time, you're one of the talents that was always out there, Death in the Gunge and all that, and to see this happen to nice person is just so nice. And
You're such a nice person.
and
yourself.
also during that interview, you said that I was a very shy kid. And that I used to get very awkward at social gatherings and I couldn't open up much and all that.
Yeah.
But has stardom changed all that?
I've gone all the more awkward now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There is a lot more attention now. Unsolicited attention, actually, So that kind of, but jokes apart, I've always been that way. Not a lot has changed. I'm still the same. Yeah.
But like a huge spotlight is now on you.
Spotlight, yeah.
So are you liking that?
Not as much. I'm liking it.
But you're getting better projects.
Absolutely.
Ah.
I'm getting better writers, producers, and directors, of course, and I also have a lot more people wanting selfies, which I like sometimes, but I don't like the spotlight all the time because I think I even spoke about me wanting that me time to prepare for what I do in front of the camera. So I still want to retain that.
Yeah.
And especially when you're doing a film like Sector or the stuff that's lined up in the future, they need a lot more of my me time. So as much as the spotlight is good, it's good briefly though, but I definitely am sort of still the same, still socially anxious and awkward. Yeah.
So you'd say you're closer to Shutu still.
Shutu, I think, will always be a part of me. वो कभी मेरा पीछा नहीं छोड़ेगा.
Okay.
That is a very deeply entrenched part of my personality. अब सर इतने सालों से ऐसे ही हैं तो मतलब कोई एक फिल्म की वजह
No,
से तो
like a lot of people
बदल नहीं
change
सकते.
over time. I've seen plenty of people change. Ki, like initially they're all like they're one way, and I'm not saying this in a bad way at
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
but
of
but
course.
fame has it's very interesting to watch people under fame because it's like different people react differently to it.
Absolutely.
It's like how you mix like two compounds and
Yeah,
see
and see what it reacts like, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's but it's been interesting to see a lot of people, and so I was just curious to see how you had
I think 80% of the things are the same only. 80,
Okay.
85 probably, if I have to sort of
right.
have a number at it.
Earlier, if you could socialize with 3 people, now you can do 4.
Probably 5.
Five.
But the amount of time I can socialize for remains the same.
Remains the same.
Yeah.
Good. That's
I
good.
mean, I don't like the fact that I really cannot put the blinds in my car down and read if I am driving or utilizing that couple of hours. From Warsaw to BKC is a good 2-hour drive during peak hour. So I want to put the blinds down, read my book, but then there are people, and then how most of them are. They just take out their phones and they don't even ask you for a picture. So
that's fame.
that is. Some days I like it, some days I don't. So
Right. What is the book you're reading right now?
currently I'm reading this book which Tapsi Pannu and her husband gifted me. Matthias, they gifted me. It's called The Danish Way of Parenting.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
I'm a father now.
Right. I know you tried the Indian way of parenting and that didn't work, and now you're going the Danish way.
My boy is too chotu. So apparently, or actually, they are one of the happiest people in the world.
The Danish?
The Danes are one of the
Danes,
happiest
okay,
people in
alright.
the world, and across all indexes, like whether it is education, whether it is healthcare, or whether it is about raising happy kids into happy adults. I mean, across all indexes, they are one of the happiest countries in the world. So there are certain philosophies which people follow there. Their outlook towards certain aspects of life are very different compared to even the most general Western European philosophy of raising kids, or probably a lot of things that I mentioned about. So it's an interesting take, So I'm reading that right now.
It's very interesting that we're talking about raising happy children in front of this movie,
Yeah, actually.
you know, like Sector 36, where
yes.
all kinds of horrible things happen to children.
Yeah.
So it's like bizarre, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's life, right?
yeah, that's life.
So, but
This is professional life. That is
that's
personal life.
personal life.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm gonna just say something that Vidhu Vinod Chopra told about you before the release of 12th Fail. He said Vikrant will become a star after this film. He was right. He said because he's the finest actor we have in this country, and people like him should be stars. Stars should not be the people who are going to the gym rather than an acting workshop. In my opinion, with due respect to everyone, it's the actors who deserve to be stars, not the gymnasts. Comments, please.
This is classic Vidhu sir.
Yeah.
This is classic Vidhu sir off the cuff. I mean, what can I say?
But
sir?
एक तरफ से what he's saying is right, na? कि like
I don't necessarily agree with the gym bit. I mean, a lot of people go to gym for their mental health because it directly affects your mental health.
but you know what he's saying.
Yeah, I
He's
know because I know Vinod sir. I
Yeah.
know Vinod sir. I know where he comes from. I just love him way too much. You know, I did see this interview, but you reminded me of this the moment you started speaking about it or mentioning the quote again. I mean, he's generous enough to say that, and अब मैं क्या बोलूँ sir? I mean, I'm happy that he has this faith in me, and he has been that mentor beyond work.
Yeah.
You know, he's not just my director writer who's given me the biggest film of my life. He is my father figure in this labyrinth called Hindi cinema. I mean, I love him immensely. And what else can I say? I mean,
This does sound like something a very proud father would say about his son. Yeah.
yeah, it sounds like I hope I don't disappoint him because he will equally he's equally going to thrash the shit out of me if I disappoint him.
Yeah.
So I have to be very careful of what I do.
So the point is that you go to the gym and you go to the acting workshop.
If you
I
can
think
do
that's-
both.
If you can do
If
both.
you can do
yeah.
both.
Yeah. That's the.
And if not necessarily an acting workshop, I think at least meditate.
Yeah.
You know, be still, do nothing, read a book.
On Danish parenting.
On Danish parenting, or it could be a good fiction, or it could be a good non-fiction book.
Yeah.
You know, try understanding different experiences, but also go to the gym because it's good for your cognitive health. It's good.
It is very good actually. So, but you know, when you read the script of 12th Fail, you said in an interview, and it was quoted widely, that you really felt it so much that you cried for like 10 minutes or something like that.
Probably more. Yeah.
Probably more, yeah. When you got the script of Sector 36, what was your reaction? I'm sure you weren't like, you know, but what was it? What did you feel when you read it?
Immediately, my first reaction was I was disturbed.
Okay.
I was very disturbed.
Sorry to interrupt, but did they tell you which role you were?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so they
Of
told
course.
you
They told me what part they were looking at me for. I was disturbed because, and when I say this, it need not necessarily mean my home, but it was very close home because it reflects the times that we are living in.
Okay.
You've seen the film.
Yeah.
You've seen the film. Great. So I can openly talk about it.
Yeah.
Prem Singh's character and Ramcharan Pandey's character.
Pandeji, huh.
Pandeyji's character. I mean, both of them, or their collision, or these two opposite spectrums colliding,
Yeah.
is something that I'm not unaware of. Whether it is the newspapers that we pick in the morning, or whether it is the social media that you scroll through during your idle time. Unfortunately, it is reminiscent of the times that we are living in, and it still remains to be so.
Okay. In what way?
So primarily, we are talking about children's safety, women's safety. We are also talking about our collective ignorance through Ramcharan Pandey's character. He does not move an inch until the same problem arrives at his doorstep.
Yeah.
Right? I think that is reflective of our collective psyche.
Right.
Not that we want to glorify Prem Singh's character. But here is an attempt at understanding a serial killer's childhood trauma, probably.
Yeah.
When I did my research research is too heavy a word, when I was preparing rather for Prem Singh, I picked up a book which was collective stories from some of the most famous pop culture serial killers. A very common trait that I found in most of their stories was child abuse.
They were abused as children.
Yes, most of them were.
Okay.
And if I have to put it in numbers, it could be more than 80%.
Right.
So this is a very sensitive script. It speaks about our collective ignorance. It speaks about, for example, when he is at the interrogation table, he says, कौन देखता है उन बच्चों को जो ब्रिज के नीचे रहते हैं?
हाँ. That was a very powerful
इनकी
thing.
तादाद इतनी है कि इनमें से 15-20 कम भी हो जाएं तो किसी को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा.
Yeah. No, even the way he describes how they are born. कि like बाप माँ के ऊपर लेटता है, something like that, and then the child is born, not because of any plan, and the child is going to live some pull ke niche, and then like have dreams and then die one day or something like that. It's that was chilling to
the
hear.
Socio-economic disparity is a lot of people have probably remodeled the same conversation, but we have actually gone out there, with our gloves off. And we have spoken about the unfortunate imbalance of power.
Yeah.
About the socio-economic disparity. About class divide. और ये कब से चल रहा है? ये आपके पहले भी था सर. और ये अभी भी चल रहा है. और अनफॉर्चुनेटली मैं ये भी जानता हूँ कि आपके और मेरे जाने के बाद भी रहेगा.
मैं इतना भी बूढ़ा नहीं हूँ कि मेरे पहले कुछ नहीं था.
नहीं सर, हमें 2-3 साल का ही फर्क है, मुझे पता है. मेरे वो कहने का मतलब नहीं है. But I'm talking about the larger thing. It's been there, unfortunately. Right? And you always bring out my soul from within. So I don't mind sharing this with you. निर्भया को 12 साल हो गए सर.
हाँ.
12 साल हो गए उसे. Where are we? Still at the same place.
Right.
Probably worse.
But tell me one thing. When you read the script and you realized, let's approach this step by step, right? So when you read the script and you realize that you're playing a serial killer, which you've never done.
Yeah.
In fact, you've never even gone into these very dark zones and all that. So, because I know you're not a switch on, switch off actor, you do a lot of prep, you do all this kind of stuff. So, how much of darkness did you let enter your system?
So here it was completely the polar opposite. Because I know I have a method at my work. Because I know I am extremely sensitive to the parts that I play.
Right.
Because I had the advantage of reading the script months in advance before we actually went and executed it, I spoke to myself time and again, promising myself that I am not going to bring this guy home.
Especially with your new
My son
baby.
was not there at that time.
Okay.
And there's a very interesting anecdote about how I see this film today, because I shot for this film before my son was born, and I saw the final cut of the film after he was born.
Okay.
Because of what happened during A Death in the Gunj. Because of what happened during Love Hostel for me. This time I promised myself that I am not going to bring this fellow home.
Okay.
And not because of my son, because as I said, he was not even there.
Yeah.
Because it tends to really drain every ounce of me. And parts like these, and this is the darkest I've ever sort of tapped into, but because I'm naturally a sensitive person, there were so many sequences which while reading didn't feel the same as executing them. For example, the Ali sequence, the abduction of Ali. We had to stop shooting because I was so disturbed. I couldn't do it. We actually had to stop. We took an entire night. Though we had only designated half a night for that scene, we had to scrap the rest of the schedule, and we took an entire night, and Aditya Nimbalkar, the director, was kind enough to say, Vikrant, it's fine, I know where it's coming from, take your time, but we have to do it right.
Right.
we have to evoke a certain sense from the ones you're making this film for.
Yeah.
And you have to do it right. So there were moments like these. So this time I was very mindful of going there, doing my job right. And because I had to do that, because of the promise that I'd made to myself, there was a lot more prep involved.
Right. So that prep is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What did it involve? Like, how do you get a shade? How do you play a serial killer?
I mean, reading a
That's
book,
true. Yeah, yeah.
right?
No, but matlab, see, there are certain things that I loved watching. For example, the first time you're calling your wife,
Yeah.
you're walking up, and then you just put a finger on
On the lip.
of like
Yeah.
there's a picture there, and you
Yeah.
put a finger on the lip. Then in the interrogation scene, it's almost as if you're preparing yourself for the camera, and you keep doing this with your hair. You keep like you keep those kinds of things. What happened?
I don't know, because that lip bit was not a part of the script.
That's something you improvised.
That's something I improvised.
Okay.
The hair bit was not a part of the script. Even him asking for water mid-interrogation was not a part of the script.
Right, right.
There are some things that happen. Now, even with the advantage of hindsight, I probably don't have an answer for that.
Full answers, yeah, yeah.
I recognize one thing, and this is with regards to probably everything that I do, that human potential is immeasurable.
Right.
And I don't know. I probably I start thinking like them because I'm influenced by the books or the interviews or the videos that I've seen. Or it is my own version of what a serial killer should be. I think it's my own version of what a serial killer should be.
Right. Because he's
actually.
not the typical, like, he doesn't look like a serial. Like, you haven't done anything with your face or anything like that. Like maybe you have a mustache or something like that, but you don't really. It's not like you've gone completely prosthetic, something, nothing.
And the idea was to not go that way very mindfully, because the mustache, because we wanted him to look like an average plain average Indian man.
Right.
A B-town city average Indian man.
Right.
With a plain handlebar mustache.
Right.
Someone who can easily sort of mingle in the crowd. Someone who can easily get lost.
Right.
And if at all you are to analyze serial killers or offenders or people of such mindsets and pedigree, they don't look any different than you and me.
Yeah, they don't.
We all are the same. They are the same people who probably can offer a glass of water to help, but they could also be just at that flippant moment could just chop your head off.
Yeah.
And what makes it all the more scarier, and again going back to what we wanted to evoke through the role of Prem Singh and collectively the film as a whole, not just Prem Singh, Deepak Dobriyal's character Pandeji is the conscience of the film.
Yeah.
And we are hoping that he's the conscience of the audiences as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
The conscience of the world or society at large. So you want to evoke a certain emotion in the audiences that you're catering to, hence certain things. So we wanted him to have a handlebar mustache, someone who could stand next to you, and everyone judges everyone. Everyone has a perception of everyone.
Yeah.
The first thing, especially in mega cities like Bombay and Delhi, the moment you enter an elevator, and if you see a stranger, the first thing you do is you size each other up. I mean, joote kaun se pehne hai isne, acha phone kaun sa hai iske haath mein. That unfortunately has become our second nature. That has entered our subconscious. So with regards to this guy, we wanted him to be like any other housemaid.
Yeah.
But then beyond the surface lies quite a lot.
Yeah. Now that you brought up that, the centerpiece of this film is, I think, a 17 or 18 minute interrogation scene. 16 minutes. Yeah.
16 minutes after edit.
Yeah, just this intense piece of everything. I want to know about your how you found it acting with Deepak Dobriyal, because like what is, you bring a certain acting style, he brings what is his style like? What is his method like? What is his, how does he do things? Did you guys kind of jam together ki like aise karenge, waise karenge, or did you just say let's not even meet and let's just see what happens?
Actually, let's not even meet and just go and do our jobs, because we don't know each other in the film.
Right.
We're not supposed to know each other in the film. But as Vikrant, who's seen Deepak Dobriyal in Omkara
Yeah.
and Tanu Weds Manu
Yeah.
and Hindi medium,
Yeah.
you want to have that peek into this guy's process because
Yeah.
he's so good at what he does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did sort of, sit with him, interact with him. Also considering the fact that, we don't know each other so well to know each other's processes or style of working or our approaches.
Yeah.
On Sector 36 per se, I think he is someone who's very internal, probably like me. If I am to just very briefly put out, your immediate motivations, it's either internal or external. I think both of us have internal locuses within us. So we believe in what is coming from within and we try implementing it.
Right.
It seems like that. But coming to the interrogation sequence, a lot of what you see me doing is because of what he's not doing.
Yeah. He's the foil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we shot that over 2 nights.
Huh.
The first night we shot my axis, and the first night, all throughout the night, from a 7 p.m. shift to a 7 a.m., he just gave me cues.
Even though he was not.
Even though he was not in the frame,
Right.
he gave me cues. That was a good rehearsal for him,
Right.
which is great. But then, you tend to tire, and he's also enacting. He's not just giving me cues.
Huh.
So what you see me doing is a lot, as I said, what you see me doing is a lot of what he's actually doing behind the camera.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to him for that. And the second day we changed the axis and we came on to him. He's phenomenal, and I think he was the right fit for this film. There were a lot many names floating around, but I'm so glad we zeroed in on him because you've seen the film. So
He's fantastic.
phenomenal.
Yeah. But when the script came to you,
Yeah.
did you ask the director, why did you see me as the serial killer? Why me? It's like, was that a question playing in your mind? Because sometimes it's interesting to know what the director sees in you that says, okay, I can make this person an interesting choice.
So, actually, no, sir. This didn't even cross my mind because I was literally salivating at an opportunity to play a part which I've never been even thought of before.
Okay, right.
Why did you think of me? Didn't even occur to me.
Okay.
Bodhayan Roy Chaudhary was the writer of the film. When he reached out to me with Prem Singh, actually I did ask this question to him. Now that I remember, when I met him for the first time, I met him in Warsaw and I asked him this question, why me? He said that you are an anti-casting. Yeah. He said you're an anti-casting.
And that's the...
And yeah, but but then I already started thinking beyond me being an anti-casting because I was literally salivating at this opportunity to go out there and play a part nobody actually even thinks of me playing, and this was actually an anti-casting.
Yeah.
And yeah, then I was already...
I mean, there were shades
developing,
of grey you played earlier, like Haseen Dilruba, but
Yeah.
not this. This is something else. Yeah.
This is out and out black.
Right. Tell me, in general, when a child actor is called to play a difficult part, right? Obviously, the parents are told this is the role, whatever it is. But how much of it is told to the child? Because the child has to enact certain emotions, but I'm pretty sure you're not going to tell the child that you're going to be, what's going to happen, right? How do you
I don't know actually, and I
like, I'm trying to get into Vikrant's mind as he's near this kid, and you're saying that was the toughest bit to play in the film. In your head, are you Vikrant playing Prem, or is a part of you Prem?
a part of me could be Prem.
Right.
Unfortunately, actually.
Because that's what
Yeah.
a certain kind of acting is. You absorb.
Fortunately, life has not thrown me that side. As I said, it could be a version of me. Prem could be a version of me. So I don't know. I mean, it could be a mix of both.
Right. How aware are you when you're acting? As in, do you lose yourself, or are you, some part of you is always distanced and saying, I'm doing this, I'm doing that?
Of course, you have to be cognizant of what you're doing. I don't really believe in the fact that you lose yourself entirely. You have to hit that mark.
Yeah.
You have to give your focus puller that focus. You really have to be attentive at what you do. I don't believe in the fact when people say that, I lost myself. I mean, you're lying. It's impossible. You're supposed to wrap a scene in a stipulated time period. There's a budget. There are so many things that you have to be cognizant of and mindful of. You have to take this light. You cannot overlap this actor. You have to hit that mark. You have to move from this mark to the other mark. You have to listen to what the other actor is saying. I mean, there are so many things happening at the same time. So I am always mindful of what I do. Within those extreme spectrums, the idea is to find a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And then comes the advantage of a retake. But getting lost, at least in my life, it does not exist. I am pretty mindful of what I am doing.
Okay. Did you give any inputs on the script?
Yeah. I mean, I collaborate with most of my
Right.
directors.
But what were your inputs? Like, give me a couple, just to say how you do it.
I mean, sometimes you don't even discuss an input. You end up doing it. Like, for example, it is just the movement of your thumb on the photograph.
Right.
Aditya loved it, and we didn't even talk about it.
Right.
He's like, right. Especially discussions took place during the interrogation sequence. We knew we've allotted 2 nights. We've done multiple reading sessions. With the interrogation sequences, like asking for water, or probably just immediately, suspending from the interrogation and talking about Chumki very fondly and almost, getting teary-eyed. So these are little suggestions which happen, but कोई इतनी बड़ी बात नहीं है ये और आधी चीजें तो याद भी नहीं रहती.
No, and also, see, the thing is, the reason for asking is also, see, this is a pattern. See, filmmaking is collaborative, right? So, and everybody does it.
Absolutely.
But it's just nice to know if you remember something, what happens, because the process is what's interesting in the whole thing. Because I don't think you can't predict the outcome, but the process is what really is. So that's the thing. The physicality of the character. How much of, what did that involve? We've talked about the mental process of the character. What did you do when you say, I want him to be that? So you're saying, I want him to be a very normal guy, talking to his wife, this, that and all that. But there's also this part of him that wants to reveal how much or what he's done. How did you reconcile that?
I feel, and I'm so happy that you asked this question, and this has been an ongoing thought process within my own self. Is mental and physical different? I think the moment you're right mentally, you land physically right.
Okay.
So even with Prem Singh, I feel my entire focus was on getting the mindset right. But again, with the advantage of hindsight, when I see the film after edit and the background and everything, I don't think I really paid a lot of attention to how I walk. Or even in 12th Fail's case, I had an underconfident hunch. I didn't think of it. Now when I see it, I see, oh yes, there is a hunch. But I think it is because I was thinking right or feeling right. Feeling right, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the moment you start feeling right, your body responds that way.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how the magic
That's
happens.
how the physicality happens.
Right.
I don't think I have worked physically for either of the 2 films I spoke about.
Right.
My entire focus has always been feeling right. And I feel, and I think I'm right when I say this thing, if you feel right, your body responds the way you ought to feel that time.
Right. So, do you feel right when this year's national awards were announced and people started predicting next year's national awards for Best Actor and saying there's no choice but?
It feels great, and I'll be very honest, and I don't want to be modest here, sir, because that has been my lifelong aspiration.
Right.
Winning a national award has been my lifelong aspiration. But what a bummer it was, and I'll tell you why. There were journalists, while I was promoting Phirai Haseen Dilruba, who were asking me questions कि आपको इस साल national award मिलने वाला है. Up until the day it was announced, nobody informed me that this is for the previous year.
Yeah.
So I actually woke up at 8 a.m. in the morning, knowing that the national awards will be announced today afternoon, but it is only at 11:30 that same afternoon that I got to know it's not for our year, it is for the previous year. And I was so disappointed. But yeah, I mean, a lot of my media friends are to be blamed for this because even they didn't know.
Yeah.
But coming back to your question, I hope so. And I don't want to be modest here. I think we've made a good film. And not just for me, I think for the film overall, for Vinod sir, and for a lot many other crew members of 12th Fail, I think they deserve a national award.
Right. I think it's good to manifest things.
Yes,
You
yes.
put it out there in the universe. I think
hope
it's
so.
good. So finally, I'm going to ask you this question. When you were, again, I found this. You have a lot of very interesting quotes floating around on the internet. So
Yeah, do I?
you just said that, when I was making a lot of money on TV, I bought my parents this house, and then I paid off the loans, and I did this and I did that, and I got this and I got that. But what I didn't get was sleep.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided ki, at the height of all this fame, I'm going to quit and start from scratch like an auditioner, doing auditions and getting that Lutera supporting role and all that, start from scratch. Do you sleep better now?
Comparatively, yes.
Oh God, I thought you'd
Definitely.
say yes.
Comparatively, yes.
Okay. What's
very,
the
very happy with the work that I'm doing. Sorry, you were asking something.
No, yeah.
What's the?
No, what's the missing part?
I mean, it could get better, of course. I mean, I could sleep sounder.
I'm not talking about your boy keeping you awake. No, I'm talking about
No, my boy is very good. He does not keep us awake at all
okay.
since the day he was born.
Okay.
Yeah, and we were over prepared कि अब उठेगा. वो कभी नहीं हुआ ऐसा. Yeah, I mean, I'm happier. I'm definitely happier. And especially post 12th Fail and post Vinod Chopra coming in my life. I am a far more confident person today because no matter what, I know I have him with me. And it is not as a director, producer, it is as the father figure that we spoke of. Because I am borderline introvertish. The only thing I think of is work.
Right.
And then the complete departure from work is sleeping or reading a book or playing video games.
Yeah.
I mean, there is थोड़ा सा extremism वाला case है यहाँ पे. Happier with how people have responded. Happier that the film has done really well. Also ticked the box office marker.
Yeah.
So happy with that. Happy, as I said, to have Vinod sir in my life. I know I have that safety net no matter what. So I'm a little more confident in life. But yeah, I think there's a lot more work to be done. There are a lot more stories that I want to tell. Sector is one film which is really, really close to my heart. Yeah, so let's see.
But you've got to say, at some point, enough is enough. As in, otherwise you're never going to...
I've just started. I have just started.
That means your sleep is never going to happen.
No, it will. It will. I know my
because there is
hunger.
always something more that you can do.
Of course.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, I am just one box office hit. I've just given one box office hit. I'm just 37. I'm just 10, 11 years old in movies. I want to work a lot more. There are so many stories that I want to say, but I definitely also know that I will not be doing this for the rest of my life. There are a lot more other things that I want to do beyond cinema as well, or beyond acting as well. It could be within cinema. It could be beyond cinema. It could be so many things. There are a lot of thoughts that keep coming within me. But right now at this point in time, I want to do good films. I want to work with good directors. I want people to recognize the efforts that I put in to entertain them, or probably impact them or educate them through the medium of my work.
Right.
And I want that right now. And yeah, with regards to buying a house and money at the peak of my television career, I think I was right, because I sleep sounder, as I said. One thing that I definitely do believe now is that, I used to think, money does not give you happiness. I was wrong. Money gives you confidence, and that confidence gives you happiness. So money is very important. Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it.
That's true. I think that's true.
Yeah, your manager is very happy to hear this.
He's right here.
But thank you so much, because it's always interesting to dig into process, and I think because I was the one thing that intrigued me the most when I saw Sector 36 was having met you and having seen you on screen. There are certain things that like if you've seen Mindhunter, which is like a phenomenal series, and it just I was like awake for nights because it was so like not overtly scary but psychologically scary. But all those killers looked like killers. They were like big, and they were like these you felt that they could just bring down a knife and cut somebody up or something like that. And so for me, to see you enter the zone was like, okay, what could have what would you have done? And I think you did that. And yes, so I think you kind of did that. And plus, you were reading.
For you to say that, it really means a lot.
No, it's interesting because I that I'll tell you, I found that lip touch very creepy, because on the one hand you've just killed somebody, and then you're caressing your wife's lip on the thing. And I think some of the things that the film leaves unsaid are actually kind of interesting, because I don't know whether Prem really has a good relationship with his wife. It's not something that's mentioned in the film, but it looks like he's pretty okay not going back to his village, and that's some separate life, but he just keeps talking. It could be, but these are the sometimes it's nice when a film leaves these blanks, because like we're not completely, so we are coloring the character as well as you are doing it. So that's always nice. So congratulations on the film.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm so happy to hear that.
And what's next?
Next is there's this film releasing. It's called Talaakhon Mein Ek. It is a divorce story. A very good film.
Very, very clever title.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Talaakhon Mein Ek,
Talaakhon Mein Ek,
right?
yeah.
And I have to share this with you, since we are talking about Talaakhon Mein Ek. The writer of this film, Bodhayan Roy Chaudhary, Sector 36 is his first film as a writer. Talaakhon Mein Ek is his first film as a director.
Oh.
Yes. So we've collaborated there as well. Very bright guy, and that is coming out. Then I start shooting for a film called Aankhon Ki Gustakhiyan, which is almost a good 40 days away.
That's a song name, and let me tell you, I will never listen to that Utsav song the same way again. Man Kyun Behka.
Oh my God! Yeah.
It's this massive Lakshmikant parallel hit, and it's a Rekha song from Utsav, and hearing it in this situation, at this exact point when this horrible thing is happening is like, God, that.
And at both the times.
At both the times.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I'm so happy to hear that.
Why?
Very happy to hear that.
You're just glad I'm getting disturbed.
Yeah, that's what we want to evoke within you, because we want you to go back home and at least ponder for 10 minutes about what you saw.
Yeah.
In an age
Oh,
where
that is definitely, this is a film that makes you think about certain things, right? Because it's almost like he's an avenging angel. He's saying that I'm actually giving these kids a purpose in life which they do not otherwise have.
And when he says that, na, इनको मुक्ति दी है मैंने.
हाँ, तो that means he's saying like, वैसे तो कुछ नहीं करने वाले, but at least now they're helping somebody else become a doctor or engineer. Yeah, I don't know if I'm remembering this right.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, but like I was like, oh my God, that's like a twisted thing to say, but it also in some strange way, it sounds right. I'm like, wow, what's happening here? That's it's very.
Thank you.
It's very like So it is nice to see a
If
very.
it can resonate with such an intelligent and a well-learned man like you from an A city, I think it will reach out to the people we really, really wanted to reach out to. Not that it's not for you. Please don't get me wrong. When I say
That's fine. I don't think intelligent or well learned is any. It's because film is a very visceral medium.
Yes.
I feel that you can be very. You could have read thousands of books and all that kind of stuff, but film hits you here. Like it's not. Then you process it and say why all that. That could be the intelligent part or using your brain, whatever it is. But even if you don't want to do that, even if you're just like, I'm going to watch this movie and go, that gut punch is what really tells you if the film is getting through or not the processing that happens later is my theory.
Of course.
I-
Your
I-
initial first reaction is
yeah,
is
your
what
is the your
is-
gut.
yes.
That your gut gives you the first reaction, not your brain. Is what I think. It's
Absolutely,
like, yeah.
you're right.
So
You're
yeah.
bang
So but I hope you use your gut well in your future selections.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
please keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you for taking out time again. Thank you. It
Not
really
at
means a
all.
lot.
It all means like it's always a pleasure to talk to people who talk about their work. You know, it's like sometimes, very frankly, when you have to do interviews, you have to really kill yourself to come up with some good questions because they've not done much work or they've not done much interesting work, but they're famous.
Yeah.
They're gymnasts, like
Like VC
like
says.
VC says. So you want that interview because a lot of people are going to watch that, but you kill yourself to try and say, how do I make this interview interesting? But with Sector 36, it was a lot easier to and with you talking about it, it was just a lot easier. So you made my job easier. Thank you so much.
And it makes it easier for us too. There are times it's also the other way around sometimes. Is he or she going to ask me interesting questions, or is he or she going to ask me, आपको इनके साथ काम करके कैसा लगा? So it's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you
much.
very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
All the best.
Hola! Your dream vacation to Dubai starts from rupees 29,999 only with GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.